They might be self-aware.
Jerry here, voice specialist. The guys just asked if I could dub this intro in Hindi, and I spent 3 years in community college Spanish, so that's going fantastico. Today on They Might Be Self-Aware, Daniel's wrangling 4 different AIs at once, saying, yeah, sure, do that, while I'm out here wrangling this payphone door that won't close in 28-degree weather. And YouTube started automating videos with cloned creators, which is perfect because I tried to underbid myself last week and still lost the gig. Meanwhile, Hunter's talking about how nobody codes anymore. They just direct the robots. Kind of like they direct me. Enjoy the show!
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Now I'm going to say I'm a machine wrangler. No big deal.
You're going to walk in with the spurs on your cowboy boots and say, I'm a wrangler.
Basically a wrangler.
Okay. Rustling up some digital cattle. We got 40 head of Claude agents headed out west.
They might be self-aware.
Tracking the fear, greed, and electric madness of the machine wranglers right here on They Might Be Self-Aware. I am Hunter Powers, joined by the Wrangler himself.
The Wrangler. I'm just going by the Wrangler now.
All right, yeah, it's the Wrangler, everyone.
It's me, the Wrangler.
Played by Daniel Bishop.
I suppose I am, aren't I?
For limited time only. Are we wranglers? Is that basically what our job is now? We're just machine wranglers?
Yeah.
That sounds tough.
Yeah, it is. That's I'm talking to Claude more than I talk to my human coworkers.
What's your answer when people ask you, what do you do? That's a question I've not known how to answer for like 10 years.
I'm a people person.
No, what do you actually answer? What do you say? What do you say?
I say I'm the VP of AI at a
VP of
analytics
AI
firm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, like, sometimes I'll say CTO. You know what I say more than anything else? I just say I'm a programmer. No one ever asks a follow. You ask CTO, I get follow-up questions. I never really know how to define it. Also, it can mean because there's giant companies and there's tiny little companies. And right now I'm working at a tiny little company.
You're a CTO.
Yeah,
wow.
well, I don't. It seems inflated, so I usually downgrade it.
4 of us at the company.
My default answer is just I'm a programmer.
Yeah.
And then, I do some managing stuff.
Honestly, that's closer to what I end up saying because
I don't know what to say.
I'd still do a bunch of programming.
Now I'm going to say I'm a machine wrangler. Yeah, no big deal.
You're going to walk in with the spurs on your cowboy boots and say, I'm a wrangler.
Basically a wrangler.
Okay. Rustling up some digital cattle. We got 40 head of Claude agents headed out west.
I mean, it's not far from the truth.
What's the biggest number of, whether it be Claude Code or Codex whatevers or Windows of ChatGPT, what's the most of them that you think you've ever had going at the same time?
It's not, I'm not a multiple things at the same time. So I'm not a multi-user of the same one. So I will sometimes switch between them. So while ChatGPT is deep researching something, I'll switch over to Claude and have a conversation of something. I'll switch over to Grok and have a conversation about something. But the multi-pane Claude Code or OpenAI Codex, I have yet to get into it. Now,
so
I will...
is what you're saying.
Yes, with the one caveat being that sometimes we do spawn sub-agents, but that's still from a single session, and I'm not the one managing the sub-agents.
Right. Sub-agents are kind of fun, because you only have... What a sub-agent is, as far as I understand it, and this is all arcane stuff, is, hey, I'm talking to a large language model that can only have so much in its memory. And it will say, I've got a task that I can split into 8 parts. I'm going to take 4 of those and have a new me work on each one, and they'll report back with results in a page, or here's the code that got run or whatever. And then that takes up way less space on the main thread's memory. Which
much faster.
Yeah. The answer for me is 4, by the way. 4 Claudes going at the same time. In the last like week or so, I had done like 2 or 3 a few times, but I hit 4 because I had one working on one part of a thing and had another one. We're refining this machine learning algorithm over here.
Same project, by the way, or different projects?
Same project, 2 repos.
Okay.
So 2 repositories of code. So only one of them was working in one repository.
And what's your interface? This is a terminal?
Cloud Code. So yeah, via
Claude
the terminal.
Code and via the terminal.
Yeah. And I just had multiple terminals open. It's ZSH. We're now.
No, that's your shell. You're just using the default Apple terminal?
In VS Code. Yeah.
Oh, inside of VS Code, creating the terminal.
Because I want to see all the code and be looking at stuff and run my tests and whatever. And so everything's through VS Code, and then there's a terminal ZSH for the shell.
That's your shell, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. As soon as you said that, we got too technical. We shouldn't have done that. Hey, everybody, I was using a program to do some programs, is what I was doing. But yeah, it was really, like, I felt like I was maxing out my productivity because I'd swap to one thing. It's like, hey, can I run this command? I'd look over, yeah, sure. Click, go over to the next one. Oh, I've got the plan, and we're going to refactor these 3 files. I'm like, okay, I don't think anything else is touching those 3 files. Go for it. Yeah, sure. Click. Okay, go to the other one. Oh, this is in the other repository. I just finished looking at your other repository, and this is how we get these 2 things talking together. Yeah, sure. Click. And there's a lot of me going, yeah, sure, hoping for the best. Move on to the next thing. It wasn't manic, but it was very much like I've never programmed before. Like I've never done that before, because if I'm programming, boy, I don't want to be doing 4 things at once. I do not want to be doing 4 things at once. I want to be doing part of one thing at once. I need to build up that house of cards in my head of here is the problem. Yes. I need to understand it. And here's the 15 different touch points. Please, nobody send me a message during this time. Okay, I finally have all of that stuff in my mind. Now I can get going. What do you mean a meeting is starting in 5 minutes? That's the life of a programmer. But the life as I really do want to say that it's not vibe coding. I think vibe coding is I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just hoping for the best.
Well, it's becoming coding.
Right. So what I'd like to think of myself as doing via Claude is launching a bunch of programming tasks that I do have some understanding underlyingly, and thus it is not vibe coding. Maybe I'm just projecting my own fears and insecurities. I don't know. But it's so wildly different from my entire coding experience my entire life, because I'm not doing most of the coding. It's doing most of the coding, but the big difference isn't that it's making the code. It's that I can do more than one thing at once. I can split my attention between entirely separate tasks, which as someone to do programming has never been possible for me. Join me, Hunter. Join me.
I'm trying to get there. I still have a hard time seeding the possibility that I don't have a deep understanding of all the code that it's being written. And that is still what we've talked about. But that's my bottleneck right now. Is I'm happy to let the AI do the work, but before the AI does the work, I want to conceptualize in my head what good work is, because that's what I've done my entire career. It starts, okay, here's what our architecture is going to be. I know what good code looks like. I know what good architecture looks like. I know what a good model looks like. And I figure that out first, and then we build a plan to build the thing, versus just going with, hey, here's the result I want. Here's this idea that I want. Please explore it and come up with these things. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time reviewing all your stuff. I'm just going to look at the output. I struggle with that, and I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it, but it's a struggle for me to see that much control. And I still have this theory that maybe my output is better, because
surely
I've got this great foundation. And have you seen my code? It's beautiful. And it is beautiful, by the way. It's beautiful. And your code's not beautiful, but I don't know that it actually matters.
Oh no, my code. Look, I've made it through a career being an okay programmer. I've never been that rock star who, rock star programmer, whatever. I've made perfectly functional code. I'd like to think that the reason why I've been employed my whole darn career is because of me sitting in natural language processing and having that like linguistics background and some ineffable understanding of language, perhaps, that means that I have a bunch of tools that I can kind of kludge together to drive business value that not everyone has been exposed to, and thus makes me feel like a special boy. But I've never been like the most gorgeous code being output. But now with tools like Claude Code, I actually have, documentation in the functions that are being made. I actually have like proper readmes. And some people would say, well, it doesn't really count as like real or whatever because it was just made by an LLM. Well, guess what? That is what's reading this stuff later to improve on it. And if it's leaving itself a good trail of cookie crumbs, and someone, digital or otherwise, can read this and then understand the project and make meaningful improvements to it, then it's doing its job, isn't it, Hunter?
It's doing something.
And by Hunter, I mean my detractors. Whatever. My code quality has gone up and my output has gone up. I very much feel like I am one of the people who has directly benefited from, yes, AI made me be better at job. Not everyone feels that way, though, right?
No, not everyone.
56% of companies say that they've seen zero financial return from AI investments. There's a few things about that. One, do you recall way less than a year ago when that number was like 95%?
I do recall.
That was not that long ago where, according to some big survey, almost none of this was working out. AI bad. No one's making any benefits from this. And way less than a year later, now it's like, well, half of the companies haven't directly seen, but everyone's using it. But no, it's still a flash in the pan, for sure. Supposedly only 12% of firms achieved both revenue gains and cost reductions with AI. All right. Do you believe that? Because if you have one programmer that can 3x his output, you just got cost reductions.
Sure. Now, I think going back now several years to the introduction of what was called Copilot at the time, which was this kind of coding assistant. It was better autocomplete for coding, and it was a lot better autocomplete
like
than you ever had
before. 1 or 2 lines at a time.
Yeah. So you would write just in a Word document, you write one sentence, it kind of suggests what the next 2 sentences are. In code, you write the first line, it would suggest the next 2 or 3 lines. And that was a huge product. That was like, again, if you ask me, an unquestionable productivity enhancement where you are going to write better, faster code by leveraging this tool. And that was several years ago now, where
I don't think that that's being factored into this 56% companies have seen zero return. Like, no, as soon as you let any of your employees have access to this stuff, you're going to start seeing some benefit. Even if some people are complaining or like slow to adopt it or this or that, or not every department is using AI, you're still going to see if one person is using it kind of well, you are seeing financial return on it.
Yeah. And I can't really think of a job that having a chat GPT like subscription wouldn't be helpful and wouldn't make
even
them
in like finance.
Sure.
Look over this
finance,
contract.
maintenance,
you, the person,
sales,
are still going to do it. Yeah, of course.
Security. Again, you have questions. You're trying to improve on systems. You can go to these tools and they're going to give you ideas on how to do things better, faster, stronger. Whether you're using them or not, that's an open question. Whether you need training on how to engage with them, that's an open question. But whether there's value to unlock, I don't think that's a question.
Yeah, I don't believe this big survey. I don't think that 56%. Now, granted, 56% of companies via their key performance indicators or whatever might not see this AI feature shipped to our customers resulted in 10% more, yearly revenue. Sure. Maybe that's not happening, but a lot of stuff is happening in the back of the house there. It really is. And that, for me, I feel like that's cost reductions. It's a little harder to say revenue gains unless you can actively see, well, this team looking at their sprint burn down chart is doing, 10% more tickets per week than they used to. But again, those are, I think, a little bit harder to point and be like, it's AI that did it. That's where we got that increase. This feature couldn't have existed if not for the, like, I think that's a little harder to say. But if anybody, especially programmers, but really anyone in the company, if your CEO is using that to help like be more on top of their email inbox, even, you're getting some benefit from this stuff.
Yeah, I suspect that that number was driven by just looking at their bottom line revenue. Has revenue increased since we adopted these tools? No, we aren't. Our sales are flat. In whatever, 56 had helped. 44% of the organizations found their revenue flat after adopting these AI tools. Therefore, the AI tools have not been successful. Because at the same time, all of these industries are becoming more competitive. I'm reading more and more stories about these large SaaS providers, software as a service, where they've had, and I don't know if it worked for many of them. You have these giant multi-million-dollar a year contracts, and when they come up for renewal, companies are increasingly saying, you know what, we could sort of vibe code something that would probably be better because we only actually use a fraction of what your software offers anyways.
We're trying to do that at my company.
Yeah. It's
There's
becoming
a multi-million
more
dollar coming up at the end of this year contract where we're actively this year like, could we just do what they do instead? And the answer is probably.
Probably, yeah.
Well, definitely yes, as well as them probably.
So the industry as a whole is becoming far more competitive. So if you don't adopt these tools, you're really going to see those numbers come down. But the idea that they are not increasing productivity and not increasing efficiency and capital efficiency, I guess, is really what we're talking about here. No, they are. We should just move on.
I find this hard to reconcile in one way and very much not in the other when it comes to like creatives. And I mean like basically visual and sound creatives, because programmers I do think are creative. Like you're creating something, but when people think of creative work, they're thinking of like art, music, video, that kind of thing. And we've talked plenty about this before. A lot of people in this space push back hard against AI. Comic-Con was for a second there like, yeah, we're embracing it. AI, it's the future. Come on, you can sell some AI art. And the real artists were like, absolutely not. Picket fences and everything like that. And so Comic-Con said, okay, we're banning AI art. The makers of a huge game called Warhammer, the company's called Games Workshop, they said, we're banning AI tools in content creation and design. They're saying it's data security or IP protection and artistic integrity as like key reasons behind this. If we just finish talking about there are obvious and gigantic like places where there is, there's potential there. If you use AI, you're going to be able to do more. Why would you say, hey, artistic people use these AI tools to, I don't know, help storyboard out some stuff faster, come up with like, assist you with concept art or so on. And also AI tools, if it really is just quote unquote AI tools, that means that a lot of Photoshop is not available to you anymore, for example. Like, is this virtue signaling? That's what I think it is. This is like a lot of people, especially in the creative space, are saying we're not doing AI as like a badge of purity as opposed to actual productivity or actual like artists' rights type stuff. Am I wrong?
I think it's mostly somewhere between virtue signaling and just a change management process. So this is a giant change of adopting these tools, and a ton of what used to be putting ink to paper is now, I guess, weights being moved around, and that's not comfortable.
And we don't mean like iron; we mean like numbers in a neural network here.
Yes. So they
not
need
to say that ink on paper will go away. It obviously won't go away. But when it comes to like a company that make money, a company that has art as an output wants to continue to exist in the world. to completely eschew an entire class of new products that seem to have gigantic productivity gains across the board, at least allegedly, for probably any kind of company. Yeah, it's definitely drawing a line in this.
I think it's a change management process. And we've seen this play out in other industries, and it continues where you start by saying, no, this is evil. We're not going to do it. And you take a hard stance against it. And then you introduce a little bit of it. And then fast forward 6 months and nope, it's all AI all the time. Because
so
you can't.
Workshop, the other part of this article is the CEO said like, yeah, super cautious stance. But, we're going to let a few senior managers privately explore AI's potential.
Yeah, it's just change management.
Yeah. So, right. We know that this is a big hot button thing that everyone's able to very easily get very upset about right now. And we don't want our sales to go down. So we're saying the article title says all staff, no AI, and people, good. The company that I already like isn't going to do the thing that it's easy to be mad about. And well, okay, so all staff can't use AI except for the staff that can use AI. And then because they're exploring its potential, a few months from now, we're going to determine that it does have potential and start using it.
Well, I remember
Quietly,
at a company that we may or may not have both worked at, where at one point there was a policy of absolutely no ChatGPT for anything. And I would be in the meetings with the execs and I would sneak peeks at their laptop screens where you would always see the tab open with ChatGPT in it, even though this was an explicit, you can be fired policy, but everyone's actually using it. So that's another part of it. Everyone, and I would bet many of the artists are actually using it too. Now, I also understand and want to acknowledge the moral argument that these models were created by stealing everyone's soul, and they're not wrong.
They're not wrong. Completely
not
agree.
Wrong.
Hey, every artist who's mad at me right now, I agree with you.
Your
they
soul
did
was
a
stolen.
bad thing. They shouldn't have done it, but they did, and Pandora's box is already open.
That's the problem.
And Pandora's box is very cheap for you to use to help further your own art career. Just use the friggin' tool.
Yeah, it's too good. Nano Banana Pro
that's
is
the problem.
too good to deny its existence. And it is it's out there. There's no going back. And again, even in the scenario where the US were to roll, Nano Banana Pro goes away, it's going to be available in other countries. There's going to be open weight models out there. The technology exists. We can't pretend it doesn't exist now. Maybe there was a conversation to be had a long time ago, but we've passed it. And so you can choose to pretend it doesn't exist.
But then you're going to fall behind the people who are
you
getting
may not
productivity
exist. That's the
gains
problem.
From using it.
You're right. You can be Amish. There's nothing wrong with being Amish. And maybe there's something really nice about it too. But you understand that that's what
I love good digital detox.
Yeah.
You know, just wander out into the woods, no cell phone, no computer, no bleeps, no bloops. Obviously, I bring like I have to be listening to They Might Be Self-Aware while I'm walking out in the...
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Engagement. But, right, like, I think that we need to find a balance. And it's not just with AI versus not AI tools. It's digital versus unplug. You know, everyone needs to spend a little bit of time off the internet.
Oh, I don't know. I'd go that far, Daniel.
You can bring the podcast with you, Hunter. Don't worry. But I'm not going to say enough of this to think that there's like a seismic shift in the way that we're looking at the world. But I have seen a few more of those, hey, what if we did a 4-day work week articles coming out in the last like year or so, slightly more than I had been seeing previously. It's not going to happen because capitalism number must go up, etc. But like, I don't know. If I personally have a job and the job is have this much output and I can do at least that much output in a shorter amount of time because I don't know, schedule a couple of those things to go out, you know, on Thursday and Friday and then take some time off.
I got a question for you about that. So I've long been a proponent of the idea of the 4-day work week. And by the way, the one where you just work, what is it, 2 hours extra every day?
Yeah, the 410, as it were. You're still getting
same
40
number of
a week.
hours. And because I've pitched this at companies, there are a number of studies where they've done experiments at large and small companies. Like Microsoft did a giant experiment where they demonstrated
Everyone likes it.
The exact same amount of work gets done. There is no decrease in productivity, but there's a significant increase in employee happiness. And so maybe the work that's coming out is better, but really the work was kind of indistinguishable. So why not do the 4-day work? It's so much better.
Some managers just seem really against it.
So there's that thing, but I have this thing with AI, and I'm curious whether you feel it at all or don't, that I feel like now I need to work 7 days a week. I feel like the AI has given me these superpowers. I do not feel the
same way as you.
The superpowers.
I'll start off with that.
These superpowers that like I can't waste them. Will I ever have these superpowers again? Will there be another moment in time where I will feel so empowered to do absolutely everything all at once that...
So, no, I don't want to work 7 days a week. I want to do stuff 7 days a week. I think that there's a slight difference there. I want to be working for my job 7 days a week. Side projects and things like that. Like,
sure.
I'll talk about some of them on the podcast. Being able to do those kinds of things at an insane clip compared to what I would have previously been able to do. I love working on these little side projects. They're very fun. And that I find myself doing pretty much every day. But
do you feel an increased responsibility to do them? Because at this moment in time, the technology...
Not responsibility, just ability.
Okay, I feel responsibility. Like the world has blessed me with this technology, and if I don't use
it to the world, we need more.
Owe it to the world. Yes, yeah. Daniel.
Yeah.
The world needs more hunters. That's what I'm determined.
Ideas.
ChatGPT has confirmed this, by the way. I asked it, hey, I just want to confirm this idea with you, ChatGPT. I'm feeling like the AI is telling me that the world just needs more of me. Can you?
Oh boy.
Is that a real thing? And it's like, yes, Hunter.
You're like actively fishing for AI psychosis is what you're doing.
To each his own.
To you, not that. This is an intervention podcast, Hunter.
It might be.
You need to stop talking
but
to Grok.
you don't feel this, because I feel it, man. I feel it. It's something I struggle with.
There is this underlying buzz that I felt when I lived in like San Francisco, where anytime you walk by someone, they're talking about, I'm going to make the next big startup. And that's what they all sound like. Everyone, literally every person of every gender, size, ethnicity, they all kind of sound like this. They don't. I don't know why that's the voice I chose. But like, there's this energy in San Francisco of like, innovation happens here. And I didn't feel that in most other places that I've lived. But now I feel it in me and at my computer of like, I could do an innovation. I could innovate right now if I wanted to. And a lot of the time, well, heck, I had a neat idea. Hey, Claude, I just had a thought. Make it become a real thing. Whoop, and then it just does. And that's that promise made manifest of like, I had an idea, make it. And I don't think throughout all of human history you've been able to, like, an average person couldn't say, I want to make an entire software as a service company, years ago. But I think kind of anyone with a Claude Code or a Codex or a whatever subscription these days probably could be like, you sit down and say, look, I don't know nothing about nothing, but we're going to make us a website. And then at the end of the day, you're going to have you a website because you had a cool idea that no one else has ever done that thing before. Yeah, we're at that point. So yes, embrace it. I don't feel like a need to be like, there must be more Daniel stuff out there. But it is this like stimulus response of the stimulus is, I just had an idea. And the response is, I could make that idea become a thing I could look at on the computer really quickly. Click. It's already done. Wow. Like that dopamine hit of creativity to product has gone from a months long, maybe it'll kind of work out if I can carve out enough time, to I'm actively making a pot of mac and cheese and hitting enter every 30 seconds. And it's done by the time I have dinner ready.
Yeah. I was thinking about AI addiction the other day and thinking about sort of a comparison between some of these large language models and slot machines where, right, you're pulling the lever and sometimes it comes back and you got a jackpot, but most times like, not quite. But you get that hit and I'm going to pull it again. I'm going to pull it again. I'm going to pull it again. Well, what if I did this? What if I did this? What if I had this idea?
I 1,000,000% feel that. It's not addiction, but it is that like dopamine
jackpot.
hit. Yeah. So I've heard people call AI usage slop machines. Maybe there's something there. Is that the thumbnail for the episode? Just us. Okay, here we go. You're going to age us up. It's us in like a Vegas casino. Yeah. And, one of us is like pulling the arm of the one-handed bandit or one-armed bandit there. And the, 3 symbols on it are probably just like robot heads.
Yeah, I think one's a Anthropic slot machine and one's a OpenAI slot machine. And
Now, take the transcript from this episode and put that into Nano Banana Pro, and I bet it'd be really good.
We
see, we could just do it. You can just do stuff these days.
You can. Some data backing up that other people are seeing this as well that I found interesting. 2 different studies. One showing that students are increasingly avoiding the 4-year degree and going towards more certificates and community college. And then another study suggesting that non-college graduates are basically securing jobs at the exact same rate that college graduates. So that the diminishing value or return on higher education.
Yeah.
And these articles didn't directly relink it to AI, but I think it's an AI thing. I think that AI allows for a leveling of all that to where, I don't know, I think higher education, and I've done a lot of higher education, but that higher education was a bit of a farce for a while, but
now it's more of a farce, is what you're saying.
Now it really isn't necessary, you can still pursue it, and I have pursued it, I enjoyed it, but
I'm gonna hope that like the pre-med students who are listening to this know that I'm in your court of no. Some college is still very much necessary, but I think a lot of what's going on right now is
it's necessary.
Economic downturn and like macroeconomic factors and stuff like that. But cost of education has wildly outpaced the salaries that are out there, and I think there is something to AI making certain degrees not as useful because like I don't think that a 4-year degree is about having learned the specific stuff in the classes. It's about a continuation of the education process of you being better at learning. And like, yes, you did learn a bunch of stuff specific to a field, but there are a lot of professionals out there who hopefully and probably don't regret going to college, but are employed in a their specific degree related field.
I've long felt that the biggest value of college in general is about like a social maturity, that you mature a lot as an individual. You learn how to kind of live on your own a little bit, how to interact with this world at college. And then it really wasn't about the actual classes that you took.
But now you just have to be in debt for like 50 years.
Yeah.
That's all. No big deal. I don't think that this is a mostly AI thing. I think this is a cost of education thing. And the fact that like when you mentioned there's the study that says college graduates aren't getting jobs faster than non-college graduates. I don't think that that's AI. I think that's just like quote unquote the economy. Maybe some aspect of it could be attributed to AI, but like if you're going to be an architect, you still have to go to school to be an architect. If you're going to be a doctor, or a lawyer, maybe not as much a computer scientist, but also nobody's hiring junior computer scientists these days. So like,
Well, it's been true in computer science for a very long. Computer science is probably a good example of like one of the forefront fields of not actually needing the higher education degree.
I don't have a CS degree.
And going back 20 years, it was not uncommon to hire computer scientists who had no formal background in computer science. It was if you can do it, we will hire you approach. in general, including from some very top tier companies. I guess Google at its beginning would only hire PhDs in computer science, but even they abandoned this philosophy rather quickly. And at Microsoft, for basically forever, you didn't actually need a CS degree to go work as an engineer at Microsoft.
Right.
We've had the idea. We were basically the the prophets of now everyone's coming to realize that.
Let me take one of a different degree here, and let me know what you think. An English degree. When it comes to cheating on homework and like writing up an essay, I think that your Claudes and your ChatGPTs are going to do a really, really good job of writing a compelling thing that brings in whatever thing that you were supposed to have been learning this week and that one, book that you're supposed to read. But people aren't getting an English degree to just get like a degree. There's not to like denigrate an English degree, but I don't think that
that's
people
what you're
get
doing.
an English degree to go in the like, this is obviously where all the high paying jobs are at. You're getting it because you're passionate about the English language and English literature and the history thereof, and
Reading,
like,
writing,
how
communication.
it relates to the world. Yeah, exactly. So I think that some of these degrees are less relevant because AI can help like offset some of the skills, but a lot of them, if it's a 4-year college degree, like you still need to get that degree to be in that field.
Do you?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so
again,
English,
architect
no.
or like the
history,
pre-meds or whatever.
History, do you need a history
No.
degree?
So right,
Okay,
not history,
history's
not
out.
like gender studies.
Okay, what
not
about
your
math?
English, not like that.
That sounds like a serious thing.
Even though we have ChatGPT starting to do, what was it, Erdoge problems?
Yes.
At this point, you're not going to become a mathematician without having studied an absolute snotload.
But do you need a math degree?
I don't know. I've never tried to be hired somewhere as a
Mathematician?
math postdoc or whatever. But like a postdoc, the people who are doing like research in math almost certainly already have the PhD, and like I think it is conceivable that you could just be a math whiz that never went to school for it and just learned all of the math that there is and then starts pushing forward the like forefront of the field. But I think that a lot of fields, if you're going to do that field, it's not just virtue signaling. It is really relevant information. It is a
Philosophy?
well, again, there aren't like philosophy factories out there. There are certain degrees that like don't translate to the same kinds of jobs. But if you have a fairly agreed upon set of like standardized knowledge and approaches and whatever that everyone who's in this field can be more or less expected to have, universities kind of give you that sort of like solid base and understanding. I think a mechanical engineer, I don't think is going to get a job doing mechanical engineering without a degree where you can say there's an accredited university that agrees I have the same sort of like base understanding of this field as anybody else does. So a bunch of degrees you still absolutely got to have, and a bunch of the remainder, as much as some people, especially in the hard sciences, might turn up their noses at, the humanities or whatever, those people are studying it because they're passionate about it. I don't think AI is replacing either the studying there or the jobs that come out from those things.
But podcasting, we both agree you do need a degree in podcasting.
I don't have a degree in podcasting.
Wait, what?
No.
What?
Okay, speaking of AI maybe replacing certain aspects of certain jobs, YouTube says that they're going to start letting you do AI shorts. Like, here's your likeness, click a button to say yes, and then we'll just make them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
it's
weird.
Not slop. Oh, no, it's not slop. But it's going to be AI generated shorts using your likeness about stuff that you can like ask it to do.
YouTube both announced this new feature where as a creator, they're going to start creating videos with your likeness. At the same time, they released this report that they really need to work on the AI slop problem on YouTube because it's getting out of control.
Fighting spam
these
and
came out at the
clickbait.
same time.
Also, we're going to let you make spam and clickbait.
Yeah. I mean, well, they're already dubbing us, so why not?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, YouTube. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't.
I think we're all
okay. So our YouTube Shorts currently involve a lot of effort from your side of the house, as it were.
They do, and they haven't been published in a while. They're coming back, folks. If you're missing the shorts, there is a long there's a long backlog of shorts to come out that have been edited, and we're tinkering with the publishing of them soon to release again. But yes,
are you going to click yes for my likeness and put some AI shorts out there, and we'll see like which ones do better, or is this A/B testing of the future?
So I do want to do that because the automated editing of shorts, of videos with AI is not very good. It absolutely exists. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I play with the tools. I check them out every 6 months. Sure. They don't compare with the human editors at all, in my opinion. And our shorts are edited by humans. But what they are pretty good at is writing the scripts for them. And so my theory is that if we take our transcripts, the raw audio, and we pull out this clips that should be turned into a short, and then we either pull the raw audio that we actually recorded or use our voice models to say the words that we previously said, and then basically animate these images that you're potentially looking at right now, that we can recreate the short and have the kind of like the pure video assets that then get edited in with some generative footage and create something that's as good versus the current process, which is trying to take our raw video and edit it. So like, it's not a great editor, but if it could just generate it wholesale, which I think is the path that YouTube's going down, it seems plausible to me. And once we have this sort of new publishing system that I'm working on, I do hope that we can get even more, there can be even more Hunter and Daniel out there. But there is an easier way if what you really want is more Hunter and Daniel. You know what that way is, Daniel?
Yes, it's to listen to this episode again in Spanish and
18
Hindi.
different languages.
I talked about last episode, right at the end, that there was Hindi.
Yes.
Now there's Spanish also on at least one of our episodes. I had really meant to talk about this earlier, but so you've listened to some of it, right?
Yes.
Does it sound like you? I don't know Hindi, but I know some Spanish. And listening to me speaking Spanish there, I was like, yeah, that sounds like it was plausible that could have been me speaking Spanish. Do you think? So just to reset a little bit, YouTube has started dubbing our episodes in multiple languages, though it's a slow to roll out. So whether or not this episode has or not, I don't know. But if you go back, some of the episodes, we are dubbed, meaning it appears that we are speaking different languages, not subtitles. It doesn't change our like lips moving or anything like that. But it's pretty synced up. Fairly. There are... Look, close your eyes and listen, and it sounds like me in Spanish or Hindi. It does sound... There are much better dubbing models out there that have been around for years at this point, because I've played with them in the past. And so then it doesn't come close to that. They're definitely doing something that's a very low cost compared to what the cutting edge is. But it'll catch up. It will be perfectly synced and perfectly in our voices. But does it sound to you, especially, the Spanish one, shall we say, does it sound like you to you? It sounds like it was based on me. It doesn't sound like me. Yeah, the Spanish one, it's not perfectly me, but like not terribly far off. So anyway, sorry, you were saying if you wanted to hear and see more of us, the easy way. I suggested go on YouTube and then watch multiple versions of this one specific podcast. I was just tell people to subscribe, dude. Hit the subscribe button, and we magically show up in your inbox. Yeah. All major podcasting platforms and most video platforms, and you can find us. We do 2 episodes a week now. Did you know that? Did anyone tell you? And we don't even have podcasting degrees, which is just incredible. And we may or may not be real. That's the one thing that still remains outstanding. No, we're real. We may or may not be self-aware. But you will find out if you watch the very next episode of...
They might be self-aware.